Tip,
Go.
with it. Hello. Well, it's time for two guys with common sense and a product. Once again, this is our second show. Welcome. Glad you could tune in to watch Eddie Guevara and Antonio Aiello, and we're the two guys with common sense, I hope, and a product. Eddie, how you doing, my friend?
How are you, Tony? I'm coming on the show again, and it's a pleasure to meet you again, sir. Like always,
Thank you. He's so
it's always a pleasure to have this
He's
man
so formal, this guy.
and speak. I love old actors, and he's one of my iconic ones, I guess.
He never saw me work, and he just talks about actors because he loves them and he loves his product, and he's a great guy, and he's going to talk about some of his special products today. But before we get into that, we decided that we'd open the show with a little commentary.
Tony, I'm sorry that I kind of came in there, but I wanted to ask you a question. How do you feel overall about the economy today?
I was just going to mention that.
He's a great guy, though.
All right, he's not bad. Anyway, we have an economy today that's troubling because I don't think that Congress is putting the country before keeping their jobs. I think that's the bottom line. I gave this great thought. When Ross Perot was running for president, I hope you remember some of the things he said, because I happen to think he was a brilliant man. He was too smart, so they had him marginalized and made fun of him with his ears and so forth.
I remember.
It's true, but the man was very smart. He said that it should be a volunteer job, which it was in the early days. The founding fathers used to volunteer their time. They came together because their country needed them, not because they needed a job that was cushy, with great politics, with great benefits. They cared about their country, ladies and gentlemen, and they did what they had to, and if they failed, they would have been hung, every one of them. Benjamin Franklin coined the phrase, if we don't hang together, we're going to hang separately. That was Benjamin Franklin who said that, and they would have. Had the revolution failed, every one of those men would have been hung as traitors. You realize that? Revolution only works when you win. If you lose, you go to the guillotine in France, and you go to the, and you go to the noose in America in those days. Today, it should be the same, because these politicians today have caused every problem we have. We don't cause the problems, they do. And the reason they do is because we let them stay there as long as they can con their constituents to keep re-electing them. Senator Byrd was 99 years old and he was still in the Senate. They had to take him from his home bed and prop him up to vote yes. That's ridiculous. We should have term limits, 2 terms, senators and congressmen, and the same as the president, 2 terms and you're done, next. And you've got people in Congress now who are there for 50 years and 60 years, and well, it's ridiculous.
Why do you think also that the government should hold people accountable for what they're doing?
How do you mean it?
Accountable, like they'll put a lot of times.
You mean congressmen?
Congressmen, people in political status. Now, I'm not a big politician, any politician whatsoever. I believe that a lot of times they're giving people jobs, and that's because they know this, or this guy could be the brother of this.
Oh,
a good example.
Patronage,
a good example. I went to apply one time. This is a while back when I first got married. I went to apply for a job in my town, and one of the things I realized is that the guy who was in charge of the town,
mayor?
No, not the mayor. The
controller.
The controller. I think it was the controller's office or something. His cousin was the secretary to him. Oh, yeah. His brother got it. And I said to myself, well, is this what politics is all about?
Yes. The problem is term limits. Ross Perot was brilliant. He even said that they should be successful people. He said that when a man gets into politics, it should be a person that doesn't really need a job. A person that's already been successful in business and who wants to serve his country, his town, whatever, and does it on a volunteer basis and only takes expenses, that he already has enough money to live on. Right. Well, Bloomberg in New York, the mayor of Bloomberg, doesn't take a salary. He's a billionaire. He's a good example of it, whether you like him or not. I'm not so strong on him personally.
I like him so.
Okay, well,
he got somebody who likes him.
Left and right, yin and yang.
Yeah.
But the situation is that politics is not a career job. It should be a volunteer job, and most of them turn it into a career. They vote themselves salary increases. They vote themselves Cadillac pay. Did you know?
Which is not the sense of Bloomberg.
Did you know that politicians, congressmen, and senators do not pay any Social Security taxes? They do not pay.
I was not aware of that. Really?
They do not pay Social Security taxes. They pay an income tax. They do not pay into a pension plan, and when they retire, Al Franken was just elected as senator. All he has to do is finish one term as a senator, and for the rest of his life, he gets full salary and benefits, health coverage, everything for the rest of his life for just finishing one term. Is that fair? And we pay the bill. That's what our congressman, that's why they become, he's making more money as a congressman than he did as a comedian.
You want to know something? Well, I guess one of the things that I kind of could say that's on the positive side for my genre, for example, I'm the novelty collector, is that I guess because what's going on nationwide, where the people are feeling a little bit kind of like they're in a rut.
A little bit.
Whatever the feeling
People are
is,
depressed.
in general, whatever the feeling is nationwide, it has caused a resurgence to toy collecting. Do you think that could be something to do with the economy and so on?
I think it's a great, I think we all love toys. I still love toys, but I think people have brought it to the attention of people like the book you got involved in and people like you. I think that we all have kid in us. I have a 73 Dodge Charger that I bought brand new and I still have it.
He promised to leave it on his will to me, but...
No, I didn't. My nephew gets that.
Oh, his...
But he can take a ride in it. But the truth of the matter is, I love the car and it brings back memories of when I was a kid. And I think that's one of the keys to toys and your collection.
Yeah, what you're saying basically what the old collections and old collecting reminisce is what I always said. It makes people reminisce of a time when they were young, and it brings out good fun.
That's it.
It brings out, I guess, a calmness in our lives that we're looking for today in today's society, which there's no calmness. It's always stress and people getting back and forth from work. And you know, and it's kind of sad that in the United States of America we're faced with such a situation today. But
what's happening? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, well, you know, Tony, one of the things though that I wanted to bring into this show today, and I'll dedicate a few minutes if you don't mind, is I wanted, when he mentioned a book, is Tony, there's a gentleman by the name of Kirk Damaris. I met him a while back through one of my suppliers from my magic shop, which is SS Adams, which is a novelty company that basically, you could say, invented the novelty business, invented the joy buzzer, and all the icons of America today. Well, anyway, Kirk Damaris did some personal work for them, and he wrote a book called Life of the Party. But this book was only distributed through the company SS Adams itself. It was not mass distributed. Well, just a couple of months ago, about a year ago actually, Kirk Damaris got in contact with me, and he asked me if I could open up my collection to him. I said, Kirk, you know, my house is open to you, my collection is open to you, come up. He flew from Arkansas, and we spent 3 days in my storage facility photographing items and stuff. And, well, anyway, the ultimate outcome is that he produced this wonderful book called Mail Order Mysteries. And what it does is that it portrays the stuff that people were able to, here you can look at a copy there, Tony. It portrays the stuff people would order in back of comic books and did not know what to get. Like when we were young, remember the stuff that people would want to
send away for stuff.
So you know exactly, but you never know what to expect. You either were con or not. Well, it's a great read. It's a great book, and one of the most important things about this book, though, is that it led to the creation of a lot of open novelties, and this is amazing.
Who's calling you? Your accountant?
I guess it's got to be I think it's Kirk telling me that he's not happy with what I'm saying about it.
I think it's his bookmaker, actually.
Well, anyway, I apologize about that, Tony, but it would only happen in the middle of the show, okay? But anyway, one of the things I wanted to tell you, Tony, is that I think today, with the way society is, I think people can still get bargains. And, you know, wouldn't you want to know how to save a buck or two? You would, right? Of course. Anybody who's interested in saving money would want to.
I think that the hobby value is big time, because I'd be interested in getting some of these toys from you myself, really.
I think you will like what I'm about to tell you. Look,
give me the Buck Rogers pistol I had when I was a kid. I'd love
Well, that's mine. I wouldn't sell you mine. That's in my collection, but I can't sell it.
You have one?
I have one, yes. I do.
I'd love to see it.
That is in mint condition, too. I actually paid $237 for that a couple of years ago. But one of the things I wanted to show you, Tony, is I purchased 3 items. And see, there. In northern New Jersey and a lot of northern New York, a lot of thrift shops have opened up, I guess because of the economy, people are trying to get a bargain and stuff. But here's one thing you're going to really like. I came across this thrift shop, and they had these 3 action figures. Now, the one action figure, I have them in this sealed envelope here, Tony, because I've actually sealed them permanently so they won't get ruined. But it's what they call a Silver Age edition. It's a black and white copy. It looks like a G.I. Joe's an action figure. And what it is, this is London After Midnight with Lon Chaney. And
he was amazing.
Yes, he was amazing. But
was he deaf? Was he deaf? Or his son? I think he was deaf, right?
You know what, I heard, I gotta
think he was.
I gotta be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure on that, because even though I'm a monster memorabilia collector, I never really collected too much on
I
chain.
think he was deaf.
One thing I also wanted to show you is I saw in the same thrift shop, right next to it had the Phantom of the Opera and the Long Chain Set. Now, London After Midnight was a movie that was, at the time it came out or something, I think they lost every copy in a fire or something, so there's no known copy known to exist. So right now, like if you want to get a copy of it, it's impossible. London After Midnight does not exist. They did recreate the movie in stills, but not the actual film. The actual film has been lost. But here's what you're going to like about this. I purchased this too, and then I noticed right next to it, they had the Wolfman. And all of them were only $12.98 each now. That was amazing. I knew as a fact already that the kits themselves, or the model, the action figures themselves, yes?
What is in the box?
In the box is the actual action figure.
It's like a doll?
It's a doll. It's a doll. That's what I was saying before. It's a G.I. Joe.
I missed that.
Okay, it's a G.I. Joe type doll. What I'm saying is about the same size of a G.I. Joe. It's about 11, 12 inches tall. And it's an action figure that's depicted right after the character in the box. But here's what you're going to like about it. In back of one of the boxes, when I got home, my son noticed that there was an autograph. And I said, wait a second, that's the Wolfman. Let me look at that. Anyway, when I looked at the autograph, I noticed it was from the sculptor who sculpted the actual action figure. Anyway, I took it to get it appraised in New York City in a collector shop that I know, and he appraised this one particular item, the Wolfman, at $425. And he appraised, well, he said that they could either sell from anywhere from $75 to $250, depending what supplier you buy them from. So let's go on the low side. Let's say I only paid $100, or I would sell them for $125. You got a $36 investment that just turned into $425 for the one and $250 for the other. Not a bad investment.
If someone wanted to sell one of these, where would you sell it?
Well, if I was going to sell it, I would probably, the first thing I would try eBay, because I do
eBay?
Yeah, I do
So
eBay
there
a
is
lot.
an outlet, if people want to buy and sell these, there is a market where they could considerably open a business,
Well,
actually a small business or a hobby.
Exactly. You know what's good about it though is that eBay doesn't really consist of a lot of money. There's no startup capital needed. If you have the product, all you have to do is go on eBay, you register, and that's it.
And there is a market for these. There are a lot of people out there who'd like to have these.
I got shocked recently, Tony. I got contacted by an individual up in Canada who wanted to purchase a copy of a poster from the 1960s. Now this is a copy, but this guy, what really threw me off is he was willing to spend $300 for each copy. So he purchased a copy of the Frankenstein, a copy of a Dracula poster, which was sold in the 1960s. That was shocking. So there is a market, and people are willing to travel and spend the money to get it.
Are there catalogs of books that people could purchase to see all these items?
Well, in my particular thing, I have the houseoftheunusual.com, which is an online novelty company.
So if I went to houseoftheunusual.com,
if you go to houseoftheunusual.com,
you have all the different items that
I have all my items there.
All of them are on there?
Yes, all of them are there.
Have you ever figured how many there are?
Right now on the site, I have it's got to be about 300, 350. But I'm changing the site, Tony. What I'm trying to do eventually is, since the book came out and stuff, and I've had a lot of recalls, I'm trying to compensate my site to a few of the original items. Like cut it down from 300 to maybe 25 true novelties that are iconic in nature and iconic that people really want them, and recreate them in its original status, the way they originally were, and somehow repackage them for display, where that's what I'm trying really to do right now as we speak. But anyway,
we don't know how much time we have for today's show. How much time would you guess we have left, Ed?
I think we have enough time to just wrap it up and say bye to the public.
I'd like to say that I thought it was very interesting, and I'm interested in looking at your book and looking it over. And I'd like to look myself. I'd look at some of the toys I had as a kid. I'd love to have them again.
Well,
and I'd love to see if there's a book somewhere. If I wanted to find those toys, how would you suggest I do it?
Well, first of all, this book is being sold nationwide. That's the difference between the S.S. Adams book and this one. This one was taken by a nationwide publisher, and you can find it in the nearest Barnes & Noble.
So if someone wants to buy this book,
they can just buy it online, or they can go
the name
to
of the book again is?
It's called Mail Order Mysteries. Real stuff from old comic book ads.
And the writer is?
The writer is Kurt Damaris, which is a great And the
How do you spell
Demarais.
that last name then?
Demarais is, as it's spelled there, it's Demarais, Demarais.
Great.
He's a great guy, he did a great, wonderful job. Like, I was actually gonna write this book prior to speaking with Kirk, but there's no one that can do a better job than him.
I understand you're doing some kind of a show or a project with him?
Well,
That's in the
that's
making?
kinda like it's in the making. I'm not gonna bring too much information on it right now, because it's still in the
But something
process.
is working in the
Something,
works.
there is some works
Very
between me and Kirk, but one of the things I could say is if you guys are interested, go get the book, you'll like it. And any information in there is valuable to all of us.
And for myself, I'm a retired actor. I'll retire on my laurels, few though they may be. I was on Batman, that's my claim to fame. The bookworm turns while Gotham City burns, look for it in the reruns. And I was the captain of the Titanic, was spotted the iceberg in Gotham City Harbor. Very funny show. And
Well, you did appear also in The Love Boat and a few other
I was in
episodes.
Love Boat and Fantasy Island, and I did pilots, and I did Hawaii Five-0, and I did a few things in Hollywood. I had one of those careers where it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. I met a lot of wonderful people. You learn a lot in that wonderful business. It was a wonderful experience, but we'd like to say thanks for watching us today. My
And
partner Eddie and I.
And as you can see, I bought him out of retirement because I just had to have him out of retirement. I can't let him retire, he's too young.
He made me an offer I couldn't refuse. The money is just astronomical.
It's astronomical. I mean, millions. Tony, it's a pleasure.
It's a good way
See
to
you
do
today.
it, and we'll do it again soon. We'll have another
And
time with our friends and our
God
fans.
bless you and God bless our friends out there, and thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Until next time.